coming from privileged caste, you're not really looking into the eyes of the underprivileged.
Yeah.
We hardly know our, we don't even talk to them looking at them. आप काम करते करते बात करते हो. So things like that. So for me, it was always that. I didn't want to look at her. If people are watching Ted Bundy and not getting depressed, then I don't think they should be depressed with this. Somebody told me that I was watching alone and I was jumping. And then I'm realizing कि मैं क्या कर रही हूँ? मैं अकेली बैठी हूँ.
Most of our research that we start is from journalists actually.
My first film as a writer came from a film, the idea came from a newspaper article where we saw an article about a person who scared away monkeys in central Delhi.
Your character's biggest emotion in the film is hesitation, actually. For instance, there is a scene in the manor where your character is hesitating to look at Champa's eyes, where my interpretation is that it's because of guilt. How would you approach this?
Which part was that when he got shot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You hesitate to look at her eyes. My interpretation is that.
Oh. Throughout the film, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was actually a plan.
Is that it's because of guilt. That's my interpretation. But how would you approach this hesitation as an emotion?
Yeah, I mean, actually, through the film, the only time I look at her and take her name is when last, where we were in the ruins.
Yeah.
It was a plan, and thank you, for noticing that, because it was that. Well, coming from privileged caste, you're not really looking into the eyes of the underprivileged.
Yeah.
We hardly know our, we don't even talk to them looking at them. आप काम करते करते बात करते हो. So things like that. So for me, it was always that. I didn't want to look at her. On the set also, I was not very friendly with Jhumpa, Mia. Because for me, I wanted to have that distance from her. So she was never a friend, even for me while working with her. Okay. And the beauty is that she's such a fantastic actor that she caught on to that kind of, relationship. It was always between her and him. I was always the outsider in the trio of co-actors, So, yeah, I mean, that was the whole plan.
We are witnessing, we read, we watch all these sad stories or the attacks that are happening all around us, and it's kind of a dark stories that are coming out lately. So when you thought of making this film did you think that इतना सब बाजू में इतना सब so many dark stories are happening, अपनी भी इतनी story कोई देखेगा क्या? मतलब was that the fear कि यार इतना violence हो रहा है आजू बाजू में, the kind of things, the lynchings that are happening, the kind of murders that are happening in the country also right now. So was that कुछ कभी डर लगा था ऐसा कि यार अपनी film भी इसी topic
मुझे तो कभी नहीं डर लगा.
Depressing.
No, it's not depressing.
It's not depressing. Watch the film at all.
It's not.
For the audience.
If people are watching Ted Bundy and not getting depressed, then I don't think they should be depressed with this. That's what.
ये ट्रेलर वाले लग रहे हैं. ट्रेलर वाले लग रहे हैं.
नहीं आपने. That's the thing.
आपने नहीं देखी पिक्चर ना? नहीं. आप पिक्चर देखो. Trailer.
I will watch the film only after watching the trailer, right?
Then we missed you. No, we never thought about it because it's not a dark film, it's not a depressing film, and across the world nobody ever told us कि depressing film बनाई है आपने. ये हमें किसी ने नहीं बोला actually. Yes, it is uncomfortable, it makes you anxious at places, but it's not at all sad and depressing नहीं है हमारी picture. It's a story about victory actually.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it is coming of age in a way, and it leaves you with a hope.
Yeah.
And also the thing is that why they're saying it, वो जो depressing या वो जो भी है ना, I think the makers have achieved to create that edge of the seat feel to the film, where when you're in the chase and everything, the action, I think the last 20 minutes pre-climax of 15-20 minutes of the film is a chase. It's an action piece. So it's designed so well that everybody is gasping for air. That's what they designed. हमें सांस नहीं आ रही थी. Somebody told me that I was watching alone and I was jumping. And then I'm realizing कि मैं क्या कर रही हूँ? मैं अकेली बैठी हूँ. My friend was telling me this. So all this is because of that, the way it's designed. No limbs are getting cut. Yeah. No heads are getting cut. No, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है कि we are showing gore. Nothing like that. And our audience is now quite used to all the gory stuff and dark stuff. So we don't actually call this a dark stuff. It's more of a action, like a road action thriller.
Yeah, and action हो रहा है. I think the only difference is ज्यादातर एक हीरो 20 लोगों को मारता है, यहाँ 40 लोग एक को मार रहे हैं, तो सबको लगता है डिप्रेसिंग है। वैसे ही
Plus, what is the definition of commercial in today's term? What is it? Is it item number? Is it cars flying, dishoom happening, or is it engagement? Today, the matrix in the attention economy is engagement. So, if you're making an engaging film, no matter what it is, and people are glued into it, it's commercial. It's commercial that anything can be. So, if this binary ke bahar hai ye, in that sense.
I mean, in that sense, I think Patal Lok is more depressing. So when you end the
definitely.
first season,
Yeah,
you are like
definitely.
really bothered about
Definitely,
everything.
yeah.
You know, the kind of sequences. I mean, of
Yeah.
course, you know the chaku, the mother, everything.
बहुत और उनकी stories भी बहुत sad और मतलब you know
Yeah.
Movie also deals with complexities of mob mentality, and your target audience, like a part of the target audience, is also the same mob.
Yeah.
So how did you achieve that?
But I think the both sides are represented. In Jhumpa is representing the other side, and these two boys are representing one side. So it's not a movie about two rich people or affluent people. It's a story about Jhumpa as well, you know, and how she deals with it and what is happening outside the car. She's the representation of what's happening. So both sides are equally represented, which is something that we got on to pretty quickly onto the project when we started writing it. So I didn't feel that it is only either lopsided or we are just showing their plight. Who's the victim really? Are they the victim, or is Jhumpa the victim, or is the mob the victim? Because their child is lifted. So what are you going to do if nothing happens? If nobody takes action, and I'm a father of a 3-year-old. If my baby is picked up, I'm going to go on a rampage. You know. And so
That's
will
an
you,
interesting film script.
you know.
A father going on a rampage. Korean action film.
So
Taken
when the system is not working, you don't trust the system, and that trust is not only with the affluent; it's also from the not so affluent. They are also not trusting the system and taking things in their own hands. So that's also represented. So I want to ask you, who do you think is the victim?
That is a question I have.
Yeah,
Because
because the system has created these victims, and all of them are victims in their own
Yeah,
ways.
if you plot it on a pie, the pie becomes equal. Like it's
Yeah,
73%.
yeah, but that's the reality, isn't it?
And the thing is that any one of us can be a part of the mob. You know, that's
Yeah.
also something which is very interesting, which I found in the film. That we have three mentality. Like we actually, when I read it, I only see the one mob mentality, which was the lynching mentality. When I finished the film, for me, there were like three kinds of mobs. You know, the first one is the confused one, which wants to help, you know, but they're not able to figure out what is the right thing to do. The second mob is, of course, the violent mob. The third mob is the savior mob, right? In the end of the film. Interesting thing which is still bothering me, that question, is that all three mob, they're actually thinking that what they are trying to do is bring justice. तीनों को यही लग रहा है कि वो justice वाला काम कर रहे हैं. They are trying to be just. So they are not villains in their own ways.
yeah.
They are capturing a guy who they think is, you know, stealing, and they are trying to punish them because establishment is not able to punish them.
And there is a system established. What happens when something happens? There is a system that you follow. There's a protocol. You know, you call somebody and then that happens and then that happens. So when that system doesn't work, then people are bound to take things on their own.
And funnily, system is also helpless. You know, they're caught between the crossfire. The cops are trying to help, but they're unable to help.
I mean, 4 cops against 1,000 people. What is
What is-
happen?
kuch nahi hoga.
What is their? I mean, what can they do?
Karan, I have a question that involves our fraternity as well. When the reporting was happening on this case, the first day the story breaks, everybody goes, there's a small action that is happening, kids are being stolen. When you go through the stories,
Yeah.
when you write the script, you have finality. I mean, whatever has happened has transpired, you have met, you have done everything. When you go through the reporting that happened, how do you think that the media reported that, and was there was it a justified form of reporting that happened, or do you think it was too lopsided? It was just moving wayward and all that. How do you see that?
I thought it was good because I learned a lot about the subject and this whole phenomenon and the various tributaries of it through the media actually, and I think there were some really powerful articles written about the WhatsApp lynchings, and not just about Karbi Anglong. Karbi Anglong, I thought, was a bit of a spectacle. That those videos became a bit of a spectacle. They were being flashed across all across media in a bit of a salacious manner, sensationalist manner. But overall, this phenomenon, in those years, there was some great reporting on it and very interesting articles written on it, which actually covered this whole subject from and helped me also understand that how each party involved is helpless. Just what we were talking about. The people who are attacked and lynched, they are definitely innocent, and they are they are victims because of the other thing, that is child kidnapping, which is at such an incredible rise, and nobody can do anything. There are a population of 150 crores. Kids are getting picked up. It's impossible to control. I mean, the criminal network is much more organized and powerful than the state network. वो और भी better काम करते हैं, तो they are able to do that. Then they are targeting the really poor sections of our society. तो state services वहाँ पहुँच ही नहीं पाते हैं. I mean, finally, we don't have enough cops in our country to manage the numbers. So, वहाँ तक वो पहुँच नहीं पाते. अब they are not able to reach there, so they have to take something into their own hands. They are so fearful about their children. Like he said, मेरा बच्चा जाएगा तो मैं कुछ भी कर दूंगा. And rightly so. Finally in India or around the world, children are such an important aspect of family, etc., etc. So then they do anything. So now you have this crazy vicious cycle, which actually a lot of it I learned through the reporting. A lot of it, they talked about technology, how technology is enabling this to happen, not by choice. Technology can be used in any way. You can use a knife to cut fruit and you can use a knife to stab somebody. As simple as that. I mean, that's a tool. Here we have much more powerful technology. I mean, way beyond a tool. An agent. I mean, the technology that we use in our phones, they are agents. They are not tools anymore. So a lot of this I actually got the opportunity to learn this through very wonderful reporting, and eventually then we went on ground. We met other journalists. I mean, actually, I feel like most of our research that we start is from journalists actually. Always. Journalists are, for all of my work actually, I usually end up going to journalists,
Journalists,
Mine too.
a lot of film ideas come from news articles.
Exactly, from news articles.
Even the characterization you can understand from articles.
My
So-
projects, all the
Me also.
Same.
All of my projects
Mine
as
as
well.
well.
Yeah.
Please keep giving us credit.
Yeah. No, I really, I mean it.
media, I have to say that.
Now, all this panel debating on TV is a whole different thing. That I'm not counting. But really, journalists are the ones who are telling the real stories of our country. हम तो बिल्कुल फिल्म वाले तो बिल्कुल भी नहीं बताते. But there are stories, like he just said, all our stories we find from your work actually, because you guys are spread out into this country and
The only information, like the way we can get the information is through you guys.
Yeah.
In fact, I discovered this whole thing about crime reporting during Patal Lok, that there's always a front page of something has happened. This one has murdered this one, or something. And we always read that story and make a judgment and then go back home and discuss it and all that. But there's always a follow-up.
Yes, of course.
I did not know that the front page always. Yeah, and that is where the real story is, that you get to know that person murdered because uska paisa nahi diya tha Malik ne and all of that. But our first impression is that, oh my God, what a murderer, criminal, and he's gruesome. And then you realize that, this is... So that's something which I look forward to now.
No, my first film as a writer came from a film, the idea came from a newspaper article where we saw an article about a person who scared away monkeys in central Delhi. And now the government is saying कि अरे लंगूर क्योंकि captive लंगूर तो illegal है, तो वो भाग नहीं रहे बंदर, तो अब आप लंगूर का कॉस्ट्यूम पहनिए. तो वो आर्टिकल ही मुझे ऐसा लगा ये तो फिल्म ही है, मतलब ये सब कुछ बोल रही है और इसके आगे क्या जाना है, सीधा पहुंचो ग्राउंड पे रिसर्च करने.
Yeah, exactly.
Shubham is talking about Ibade 2, which is streaming on Netflix.
Yes, yes. Beautiful film. If whoever hasn't watched it, वो भी देख लो बिना ट्रेलर के.
What is the present ecosystem for indie cinema, filmmakers? What are the hurdles, challenges that you are facing?
I think there are only hurdles. I mean, now, typically independent is in thought. It's not in anything else. You know, you're just wanting to make films that you feel that will resonate with the audience and something that you feel powerful about, something that changes how you're thinking and how you're reflecting on society. But the ecosystem is actually not working for the independent filmmakers. There are many reasons. Part of the reason is that the distribution is kind of crumbled, and the distribution that we have today is the distribution. Even to today, the territories that are divided, the 9 to 11 territories, are Nizam. It's called, you know, Nizam territory, East Punjab. So you can see that it is still working in a distribution pre-independence. You know, East Punjab is pre-independence. You know, how can that territory still be called that? Because it's not no longer East Punjab, it's Rajasthan, Haryana, and Punjab. It differs in language, but the systems are old, and the cinema system is kind of not innovating itself. It's pricing itself very high, where it's making it inaccessible. This is the northern part of the country. In the southern part of the country, it's different. Southern part of the country, the cinemas are more. Population is 30-35%. Their income is more, and there is a cap on ticket prices. You can only not sell more than 150 rupees, for example. In Kerala, there is a cap on P&A. P&A is the marketing money that you spend. A big film cannot sell 40 crores on marketing, and a small film 2 crores, तो वो दिखेगी नहीं. तो वहाँ उन्होंने cap कर दिया. तो southern system has a system. The North India doesn't have a system. Plus doesn't have income. Plus it's 90 crore people to market to. And about 9 languages, Chhattisgarhi, Madhya Pradesh, UP, Punjab, Haryana. This is all, and Gujarat, and Mumbai, and parts of Maharashtra.
Bengal.
So the system, the distribution system is not innovating. Pricing is wrong. There is no, and if you go typically in a Bombay cinema experience with 4 of us go, we'll spend 2,000 to 3,000 rupees.
Easily.
Easily. Plus we'll spend 1 hour to go, 1 hour to come back. So what are we really selling in films? Films is not just content. It's not film of 1.5, 2 hours. It's an experience. Now, if you're diminishing that experience altogether, if somebody is talking on the phone in the middle of a cinema when the film is going on, now it's dampening your experience. It's dampening the 2 hours that you want to spend doing this. And there is nobody who wants to do anything about it. Like, for example, if you go to more remoter part of B town, C towns, or whatever they're called, there is no good loo for women to use. So women don't go to cinema. So there is no women representation in the makers. जब औरतें आएंगी नहीं देखने पे, तो मेकर बनाएगा तो वो सिनेमा वाला लगाएगा ही नहीं. So there is a greater need for the exhibition system to have partnership of a different kind with the manufacturing of films. Currently, the manufacturing is mostly elite people, you know, having a gaze of, you know, from elite to looking downwards. And the exhibition system, which is actually getting feedback from the viewer, is not giving feedback to the makers. There is no feedback mechanism, neither in the digital space. You know, we are not being told who's watching what and for how much time. Neither in the theatrical business. Now imagine you're buying this dhokla, you know. Now you're going to ask me, how's the dhokla? I'll say, it's very nice. Maybe thoda spicy hota to maza aata. But I'm giving you feedback, you know. Now if you see my film and I don't get any feedback from you, how do I know how my next product should be made better? You understand? So there is no feedback system. The economics around it is...
the feedback is the box office numbers.
Yeah, but that cannot be the feedback, you know, because the box office number will then only be for the largest marketed, the largest, you know, the easiest item number.
I'm just saying that is how
item number
they see it.
log aa jayenge, you know, they will want to come see skin. So that will determine box office. Then there is nothing that can be done. Plus, there is no engagement. There is no conversation of how do we engage. Today conversation is second screen. Now they're asking you to make films which are second screen. Meaning, TV चलता रहे, आप अपने phone पे भी रहो. ये ecosystem है. तो उसमें कैसे innovation होगा? अगर आप strive ही नहीं कर रहे हो innovation के लिए. So I think in that sense, the independent filmmaker is stuck in these worlds where he cannot navigate, and he is actually, for example, KD, he wants to make a film. उसको नहीं पता ये चेन्नई में फ्लड आ रहा है, कोई आ ही नहीं रहा देखने फिल्म. ये इतने सारी चीजें हैं ना, उसकी सिर्फ एक नहीं है कि हमने फिल्म बनाई. There is lots going on apart from just making a film that actually determine the so-called box office or the so-called critical acclaim. Today, everything, is, as I keep hearing, we haven't experienced it, but a lot of things are bought. Yeah. So,
but reviews are paid.
we don't experience it. We haven't experienced any of that stuff.
Yeah.
It's an open secret
But
now.
one more thing about this independent thing is, I must say that around the world, big businesses have a monopoly over medium and small businesses. All medium and small businesses are being pushed out and getting integrated into big business, and so is the case with film. Tech companies are not film people. They are doing this because they are running a tech platform. So that is a larger thing that's happening also outside of these details, which are very specific. But the larger thing is big businesses are eating small businesses, and there's going to be soon enough few only left.
Sure.
Because I have something which I am also talking as an observer.
Yeah.
Who has understood how the commercial cinema has been made and everything has been made. It's also a risky business. Film business has always been a risky business. That's why our parents would always say, middle class, कि मत जाओ, पैसा कमाएगा, नहीं कमाएगा. When I wanted to marry my wife, I think mother-in-law was not very sure that I will be able to run my kitchen and all that. So it's always been a risky business. What's happened over the years recently, which I've seen, is that everybody wants to be safe. So that is why the kind of the money you put in, you need that money out, and people are trying to make it a safe business. What happens with that? Manufacturing goes up, okay, but the passion and the creativity, somewhere it goes down, because if you want to really make money in a business, you should always choose the business which you are not passionate about. Right? It's the thing where you're only thinking money and numbers, and when that happens, you're making films which are boring or redundant, probably not going ahead with time.
It's the case of America also.
Yeah, everywhere.
Indie
filmmaking today's time is, I think, the producers who are willing to take risk.
Yeah.
That's it. This is not an independent film industry where people are trying to make art house film. No. The people who are taking risk. And I have another indie film which was made independently, which is not out because the film is not that great.
Okay.
And we should start these conversations about not trying to victimize ourselves, because there are, it is a very important thing that we always victimize, ourselves, saying that the corporates or the bigger ones are not. Maybe, probably, it's something which is not catering to a larger audience.
मुझे ये भी लगता है कि when we talk about independent cinema, हम लोग हमेशा उस लेंस से देखते हैं कि अच्छा हॉल में नहीं डाल रहे, बट वक्त चेंज हो रहा है. OTT आए हैं, वैसी और प्लेटफॉर्म्स आए हैं, और तरीके की फिल्म बन सकती हैं. हम भी चेंज नहीं हो रहे. हम भी इंडिपेंडेंट सिनेमा 3 एक्ट स्ट्रक्चर की फिल्म बनाना चाहते हैं जो एक तरह की हो. हम क्योंकि बड़े एक्टर नहीं ले सकते तो हम नॉन एक्टर ले लेते हैं, और हमें लगता है कि इन्हों देख लो ना, हमने सस्ते में बना दी. बट आप फिल्म कई बार मैं देखता हूँ वही बन रही होती है. आपको चाहिए शाहरुख खान, ही आप शाहरुख खान अफोर्ड नहीं कर सकते हो, तो आप बोलते हो कि अरे आई एम अ बिग थिंकर, आई एम अ डीप थिंकर. यू आर नॉट अ डीप थिंकर. your script is on a very surface level. You are not thinking much, and तब आप बोलते हो इंडिपेंडेंट सिनेमा को कुछ हो नहीं रहा है क्योंकि आपकी हॉल पे नहीं चल रही. आई थिंक वक्त आगे बढ़ रहा है, प्लेटफॉर्म्स आ रहे हैं, हमें भी मेकर्स को भी चेंज होना पड़ेगा. सोचने का तरीका भी चेंज होना पड़ेगा कि बिजनेस बनाए कैसे.
Thank you for
hosting us. Thank you so much. This was great.
Yeah.